For those of you that don't know me, I'm Robbie Fulton. I've been with OSM since about 2017 or so. 2017. Before that, I worked for Pennsylvania DMO as a mine inspector. And before that, I was at Clinton County Conservation District for a number of years. My presentation really should be, it is on the Watershed Cooperative Agreement Program and other federal funding programs that we have, but really it should be titled how to build federal partnerships, which is something that I'm pretty passionate about, making sure that you all can put a face to the federal government and have somebody that you can come to and talk to when you have an issue with abandoned mine drainage or other AML problems. I'm going to try and save our reputation from the beatdown we got this morning. We're not all bad at OSM. We are here to help you, and we have the tools to help you if you need it. But I'm going to talk about the Watershed Cooperative Agreement Program, which has been around for a long time. And a new funding program that hopefully we are coming up with and going to roll out very soon. And we're titling that right now the Passive Treatment Protection Program. I have saved a lot of time, I think, at the end of my, sorry, I wander around. I saved a lot of time at the end of my presentation, I think, to answer a lot of questions or for a Q&A session. So, so Pennsylvania, we currently have 31 Watershed Cooperative Agreement Program grants open right now. That's over the past 3 years. A Watershed Cooperative Agreement grant is only supposed to be good for 2 years, but we do a lot of extensions, as a lot of you in this room know. FY23 funding has not been announced yet. We are now in FY24, hopefully getting FY23 funding out very soon. A notice of funding is going to be drafted soon and hopefully posted on grants.gov for all of you all to come to us for money. The program began in 1999. It was largely formed by that man right there on the left, Mr. Dave Hamilton, as a lot of you know in this room. I kind of took over the program from him. But in Pennsylvania, there has been 114 WCAP grants since the beginning of the program. And we think that it's been very successful. We've given out $9.5 million federal dollars to the program, with total partner contributions coming in at around $44 million. All right, to be eligible for a Watershed Cooperative Grant, you need to be a 501c3. It's non-negotiable there. I know some of you watershed groups or county conservation district kind of struggle with this because you're not a 501c3. We have found ways to, I won't say get around the system in the past few years, but we have eligible entities that are willing to sponsor your project. There are a couple different ones. If you are interested in the program and the fact that you're not a 501c3 has kind of held you back in the past, please reach out to me and we'll see if we can work together to find an eligible entity that's willing to sponsor your project. You need to be eligible for AML money. That's also non-negotiable. It needs to be, a Title IV eligible site. It has to be a coal mine affected site prior to 1977. And we need to work in conjunction with the state. So here, the majority of you sitting in this room, I'm assuming, are from Pennsylvania. So we need to make sure that we're working with OSMRE to make sure that this project fits, it works, and they're going to sign off on it to make sure that we're not kind of wasting money. Because we don't want to put in a project that, in 5 years is going to be, deemed, not really needed because OSMRE has a big active treatment plant coming online right beside it. So we kind of want to try and save that money if we can. All right, so the review process, after you apply, we're going to review this kind of in 2 phases. Are you going to get a technical review, which is going to come from me and 3 other people at OSM. We're going to do a merit panel review ranking. And our grant staff is also going to be behind the scenes looking at your financial stuff, making sure you can manage a grant, making sure that you have all those checks and balances that if you were here yesterday and did the OIG presentation, you have all of those checks and balances that they were talking about. We'll usually do a site visit. I mean, 99% of the time we'll do a site visit unless I've just been out there recently and I know all about your project. The other step that we're going to need to get done is a NEPA review. That is all your environmental reviews, your Endangered Species Act, your permits, making sure you can get your earth disturbance permit, making sure you can get all your Army Corps clearances. We've had a couple projects in the past couple of years that have been held up by Army Corps for whatever reason. So we're kind of trying to avoid that along in the beginning if we can. Right, current projects, like I said, there are 31 current projects in Pennsylvania, one ongoing in Ohio, one in Maryland. Oh, I forgot to update my slide there. It still says we're waiting on a number for West Virginia. There's 9 projects in West Virginia currently in some stage of development or construction. In Iowa, there are 3 projects ongoing. Right, the current projects for Pennsylvania right now in FY22, which is the last funding year we've had, we had 8 projects for $691,000 of WCAP money. There's usually about $1.2 million every year in Appalachia for WCAP money, so you can see that the bulk of the money every year goes to Pennsylvania. I think that's unique because Pennsylvania is uniquely set up with watershed groups compared to a lot of the other states in the country. We are expected to get a NOFO soon, a Notice of Funding Opportunity soon, to get another $1.2 million for FY23 in Appalachia. All right, where are we going with the program? Hopefully the Watershed Cooperative Agreement Program isn't going anywhere. I don't think it is. I think it's a very popular program in OSM, honestly, just because it gives us a face with all of you. Otherwise, I mean, nobody knows who OSM is. We're just the bad guys that yell at DEP and don't let them do what they want to do. So what we're doing right now is we are currently trying to, I'm just going to go ahead to the next slide. We are currently building a nationwide database. Cliff, I'm not trying to steal your job. You've done a great job with Watershed, and I wish I could just give you the money to run Watershed nationwide because it's a great program. But right now we are trying to track down all of the historical WCAP funded sites. This is what we've found so far in Appalachia. We're at 373 sites across Pennsylvania, Ohio, Maryland, West Virginia, and Tennessee. This is what we've found so far. We are currently working on building a database of every passive treatment system in the country. The Mid-Continent region folks are working closely with me to get me all of their information so I can upload it into the database. And we found a handful of systems out west that we are also going to add into the database. But I mean, that's just, I mean, that's a lot of money that we have spent right there on passive treatment system, just on those systems that I put in there. I mean, $20 million that we've put in so far, just on the systems that I found so far that are on this database from this screenshot. All right, so where are we going from here? Last year, Congress mandated or told OSM to evaluate passive treatment systems and what we are doing to fund them moving forward. So we have spent the past year or so, we created an internal work group, which I'm helping to lead and write. So we're hoping to fund the operation and maintenance of passive treatment systems. And what we're hoping we can accomplish is kind of filling in those gaps of where Title IV money is not really there, right? You can't get, growing greener, you can't use growing greener money for this, you can't use WCAP money for that, you can't use Title IV money for, certain things. So what we're trying to do is, fill in a lot of those gaps to where we can. So what we're trying to do is we've had a couple listening sessions. We've had listening sessions with Friends of the Cheat, with Mountain Watershed, with Whip Camera, with, yeah, that's it so far. But we have a couple more listening sessions planned, or are planning a couple more listening sessions with a couple other major watershed groups. So we've sat down with all of them and we've gotten complete breakdowns of their budgets of so they manage, I'll use Friends of the Cheat as an example. They manage 5 or 6 systems in that watershed, and they had a complete budget breakdown of, hey, this is how much my gas costs, this is how much my staff time costs, this is how much my water sampling costs, etc. And they had a great breakdown. So what we're hoping to do is, you submit us a budget of, hey, this is what it cost me to run these 7 systems. I give you money to run those 7 systems for the fiscal year. We pay for your staff wages, we're gonna pay for water sampling, equipment to water sample. Another thing we've heard from a lot of watershed groups over the past few years, hey, I need money to mow the grass, like we're having bake sales so we can mow the grass around the treatment system. We're hoping to be able to pay for that kind of stuff so you guys don't have to do bake sales and cookie sales or whatever it is that you guys are doing to raise money. We're really just trying to, kind of fill in the gaps there. We were hoping to have a notice of funding out for this money this year, soon, but as we can see, we have some budget problems in Congress without getting into that. So we are kind of in a holding pattern right now because we don't have the appropriation to actually put a notice of funding out. So we are working on that and trying to figure that out. With that, I know I went through all of that very fast. I have a tendency to talk fast, but I wanted to leave a lot of time for questions, answers, or maybe you can get out of here early because I think I'm between you and leaving.
No, we have more. We have more. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I just want to clarify. So this is for passive treatment systems.
Yes.
Right?
And I do want to say that we are hoping to write this program in such a way, the SOP is written and it's sitting on the solicitor's desk right now. The solicitor, we have an SOP written, we have a framework for the program, it's all written, it's under review. We are hoping, and the language is in there, that this money would not be just limited to 501c3s. This money we are hoping to put out there, and we put specific language in there to say we want it to go to non-Title IV eligible entities. All right, so Broad Top Township, we're looking at you. Conservation districts, we're looking at you. Anybody that, basically everybody but the state. We don't want the state of Pennsylvania or the state of West Virginia coming in and applying for all of our money because they say, oh, well, I'm maintaining passive treatment systems. We want this money to go to the actual people on the ground running passive treatment systems or operating them. We are also hoping that with this extra money, maybe some of you all, as operators of, or maintainers of treatment systems, will take the time now to maybe adopt that system that's, just right over here, that nobody's taking care of right now, because now the money's there for you. Yeah.
I remember.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's all right. So, and this is for treatment systems that are already in existence, and
This will not be the funding ones, yeah.
okay, and then so if we use aeration with the electrical costs,
We were hoping to, yeah.
okay.
Yep, so we have that in mind, those maelstrom oxidizers, electricity costs, et cetera. Could be thrown in there as an allowable cost. Not to say we might not, you might ask for 600,000 and we say, well, I can give you 4. So it'll be down to you to figure out where you're gonna trim those costs from. Eric, you're gonna go first.
If there's a watershed group or if I was that's interested in this, can you elaborate on how to get the process started? Is there an application online?
There is not yet. It is all going to have to go through grants.gov though. It's all going to have to go through like our current grant funding mechanisms that we have.
How much of this money from the new program could be applied to rehabilitating in addition to
We are not
the
gonna.
normal O&M?
Yeah, we're not going to limit rehab, so if you need to buy limestone, so say, you need limestone, you need pipes. So another vision that we have with the program is it's there, the money's there for you to say, okay, somebody went and shot my solar panel, or somebody ran over a pipe, or we had a catastrophic flooding event, and washed all our limestone out. You guys don't have to come to Whip Camera for quick response funds. You've got this fund sitting over here to the side, you can just kind of take it from right then.
And what about, traditionally in Pennsylvania, you went back to growing greener to try to get funds for maintenance or rehab. If you can do that, are you gonna tell us to go to growing greener first? How's that gonna work?
We are gonna hope that if you have a planned rehab, the end of your system is coming. We're not gonna try and fund that with this program. We're gonna say, hey, why don't you go to WCAP, or why don't you go get a bill grant, or Growing Greener, or one of those other traditional funding opportunities that you had for the major rehab. We want this program to be more of a maintenance, yes,
Maintenance and emergency.
correct, maintenance and emergency.
Could there be an opportunity for research associated with that,
No.
with the water sampling and?
I mean, if you want to do research, we're not going to pay for any research time,
Like modeling?
or anything like that. If you want to do that, yes, we will pay for the sampling because we think quarterly or, semi-annual samples are important to make sure your system's working. But anything beyond that is going to be on you.
Is that
I'll work on it.
database, oops, sorry.
Go ahead.
Is that database that you brought up on the side still, is that publicly?
It is not public yet. It will be public once it's done.
Okay, and it has, and what information is on there and how it is?
I stole most of the info from DataShed. So. No, I can't remember what all, I didn't, we're not keeping, yeah, there we go. Yeah, none of that info is on there, but mainly it's just location right now. I think we were, the different key there, we were playing around with whether watershed cooperative agreements were complete, closed, open, or pending. Like that's just the different colors on there right now. But right now, it's just location. We're hoping eventually we would possibly feed in, water sampling data at some point, but.
And then just a quick follow-up, the grant that you were just talking about, the passive tree construction program,
Yes.
is that something that would have to be applied for annually, and would there be annual grants?
We're looking right now at a 2-year grant process. It's the same as WCAP, so you could come to us for 2 years worth of requests.
You said you couldn't use this to fund new systems. Will you be able to use it to maintain future systems, or they have to already exist?
Nope, future systems are okay. Right now, the way we're looking at it. We're gonna push you to WCAP and other funding sources for new systems. John?
Okay, so I assume you have to have an ATP for this?
No.
How are we gonna work eligibilities? Because
Yes.
there's a lot of passive treatment systems that are out there built under Growing Greener that might very well be eligible, but Bammer hasn't touched them yet. You see
Correct.
where I'm going, I'm worried about paperwork coming back to the state.
No, I understand. So OSM does all that. So right now with WCAP, I do all that paperwork for us.
Okay,
So an ATP is implied when you get a WCAP grant. All right, the reason we have to do ATPs with regular AML money or bill money or AML money, all that stuff, is because we're giving you a huge chunk of money, but you don't have the projects yet. So we on a project by project basis, we're applying for that. Right now, so we just funded the quick response program with WCAP. Every time Ann wants to use, or Ann and Andy want to use money from quick response, from the OSM portion of quick response, they have to come to me first, and I have to get all that ATP paperwork together. I gotta get the EOMOS done, the NEPA done, and the eligibility. So yes, I will reach out like every time, like to you or, to whomever at Bammer to get the eligibility.
okay, well, knowing then that we're gonna potentially have people like getting paid through this program to do, we'll call it routine operation maintenance. But when it comes to, say, big rehabs or additions, reconstructions of those same system, they could very well be coming to our AML AMD grant program. Will we have some reciprocity on ATP?
when you have, so we do this in Ohio.
If you guys touch it and say it's okay, you're still gonna put us through.
I'll share paperwork with you, but you still have to come in and ask for the ATP. We do this a lot now with Maryland and Ohio. So Maryland and Ohio both get WCAP money. And they match their WCAP money with their regular Title IV money sometimes, or you know, some other stuff that they need ATP for.
But we should be able to do it through a CE, so it's just a matter of
Yes.
submitting it. saying-
I've never written anything other than a CE for WCAP.
Okay. Good deal.
Neil,
Is there a,
sorry, Alan.
is there a matching funds requirement for applicants?
Right now, no. We do not have matching funds required
Oh,
in,
matching funds.
in the initial paperwork that went to the solicitors.
Will telemetry and cloud services be
We are hoping to.
up? Okay.
That was brought up, yeah.
Yeah.
By Andy at
Yeah.
the Mountain Watershed. We added that as an allowable expense.
Okay.
And once again, this all comes down to DC review and solicitor review too. Yes, we can actually pay for
Okay.
Now, your cooperative, the original cooperative program,
that.
your money was just a match
It
for
was just a
an
match.
existing grant.
Correct.
Okay, so they didn't come to you for the original project, they came to you to add money to an existing.
Correct. I think it was added, if I go back and look at the history of the program, it was really, WCAP was kind of made to meet the match requirements of Growing Greener to help the Pennsylvania watershed groups meet their match requirement for Growing Greener.
And then, I mean, it functions sometimes as a change order, they wanted to do more work, and you guys came in and helped.
You guys have been around longer than the program been around, the history anyway. Yes,
My memory is that you do grants throughout the year. There is a final thing that you apply and you look at it and then you approve it.
we will probably not have a rolling application period for this. It'll probably be, hey, we're gonna publish a notice of funding, it's open for 60 days or whatever it is, and it'll be closed until next year. And it all comes down to how Congress and OSM appropriates the funding, is my understanding of that. You know, whether it's rollover fund, I don't know, Tom might be able to help me out there, whether it's rollover funding from last year, which I think is how WCAP is funded, or whether it's a regular line item appropriation from Congress, or if it's in the OSM budget, et cetera.
Actually, it's both, there's rollover funds plus new money.
Okay.
And just for background information, prior to the infrastructure law coming along, John Dawes and I were working, educating Congress on the need of it for OMR for the passive treatment systems, and twice we had it in, once in the House appropriation, once in the Senate appropriation, over $1.5 million. They didn't make it through the omnibus process, but I think we educated a lot of people on the need and tried to get that in place, because we were looking to have that as a permanent annual appropriation process to enable, modeled after the WCAP program, et cetera, for Congress to fund O&M of these systems. So it sounds like some of that has taken root.
Tom,
Yeah, I'm assuming it's gonna be a reimbursement grant.
always,
Will it be any working capital?
probably not.
Okay.
I can't answer that for sure, but probably not. None of our really grants
I just,
are.
if you can work it in, I think that would help out the watershed group.
I think it would. I just don't know if we are allowed under 2 CFR, et cetera.
Sure.
You know, I think it'll be easy. I mean, it'll be sitting there, you know, those of you that are familiar with ASAP and drawing down funds, et cetera, it'll be there ready for you. You're just not allowed to hold it in your bank account.
The good thing is it comes through within like 24 to 48 hours, the payments after you
Yeah,
request
so
it.
like, you know, we're looking at staff wages, et cetera.
Yeah.
You know payroll's coming. You know, yes, it's gonna suck. You're gonna have to pay your people and then, but you'll get that money right back. Same thing with water sampling. You're gonna have to pay it up front, but you're gonna get it back the next day. You know, the day after. Anyone else? Clip.
Do you guys have a number you're shooting for?
I told them I could spend every dime they give me.
Yeah.
I really can. You know, and that's all on you guys coming to me for money. You guys keep using the money, maybe we can inch it up every year. I mean, when money's just sitting there extra, then they start saying, well, I guess they don't need this money.
Challenge accepted.
So. All right,
All right, thank you.
thanks, guys.